Welcome. This is David Bowles, Human Meme. Today's topic, real minority rules. If you don't know much about Noam Chomsky, spelled N-O-A-M, last name Chomsky, as in Chomsky, C-H-O-M-S-K-Y. Find him, Noam Chomsky. He's valuable to you. Read about him. Noam cares about politics and is especially keen on language and meaning, even perhaps memeing, like your favorite Human Meme podcast right here, right now. So Noam Chomsky has been around forever. He's been a burr in everyone's saddle for decades, all to his good higher credit, to call out people and power and particulars and particulants. And now, today, Noam Chomsky is a magical 92 years old. And he just had a recent interview in The New Yorker that I found both delightful and concerning. Among many topics they discussed, Noam was asked about the minority stake in America. Now we, the rest of us, have been raised, taught that the minority in America is all about race, color of skin, economic depression, the poor, or those who lose the vote, the minority voice. Well, Noam Chomsky has a much different take on what the minority actually means, according to our founding fathers. Here's a Noam quote from the article. The general population wanted more democracy. The framers wanted to restrict that. They didn't like the idea of democracy. Their picture was more or less that of John Jay. The people who own the country ought to rule it. James Madison explained that one of the prime goals of government is to protect the minority of the opulent against the majority. And the Constitution was designed to try to prevent what is called the tyranny of the majority, meaning democracy. You've got to protect the minority. The opulent have to be protected. You recall President Reagan's first inaugural address. Government is the problem. What does that mean? Decisions are being made somewhere. If they're not made in government, which is under at least partial influence of the population, they are being made in the private sector by unaccountable private institutions. And there you have it, my human meme friend. We do not live to serve the racial or socioeconomic minority in America. No, Noam Chomsky tells us right there. The protection of the real minority in America is the rich, the few, the proud, not the Marines, but the 1%ers who control all the wealth and who own the government and by proxy own the rest of us. Yes, the filthy rich do own us, and we thought slavery was dead. How quaintly we live in our indelible ignorance. Tiny houses, tiny boxes, tiny people in teeny times. When we, the middle class, and us, the disenchanted and the disassembled, get prejudice and unfairness accused against us for discriminating against the minority, not our minority, not what we believe is the real minority, but their minority, the rich minority. And suddenly it all makes sense. The big business media, TV news shows, cable news shows, Facebook, Amazon, Walmart, Google, Twitter, they aren't here for us, the little guy. They survive through paid advertising from big business, the business owners. We are our masters. And so the media and the social media and the justice system, they exist merely to serve the rich and the powerful. Oh, they tell us they're on our side and that they aren't fake news. But if they aren't reporting on what the moneyed elite are really up to, then are they really doing their job? Or are they just answering to their rich and effervescent masters above? Noam Chomsky has always been a super genius and keenly disturbing in his shared thoughts. And Noam is frighteningly effective because he speaks a unique truth that plucks a string within us, a vibrating melody of truth that has a tone in a discalming rate because we know what he's saying is real. And the layers of lies that have been told to us become into a peeling back, the onion of Peer Gynt, layer upon layer removed until there's nothing left of the center. Noam Chomsky upsets the apple cart expectation and flips everything on its head. He teases us with our own willful stupidity and wish fulfillment and ignorance, and we deserve what we get for not wanting to really know what's happening. And oh, sure, on some level we already know all of this. We've played this tune, this vibration before. We know we do all the work and get little of the pay. Has that ever been in question? We know 0.1% of the people in America own 25% of the wealth in this country. And that is wrong. And how did that happen? Well, it happened because the government was founded to protect them, the 0.1%, not us, not the rest of us. We're the wrong minority. And the only way to become the right minority is to exploit the actual minority in order to buy your way into the wealthy minority. What a circle of deceit that is. But we call that the American dream. Trickle-down economics. The ultimate non-native American pipe dream. And those of us who are born into money, inherited wealth, have no use for the others of us. They've never worked hard a day in their lives for anyone else but them and their own. And they'll never understand us because they don't want to, because they don't have to. Because our government, they know, is set up, founded to protect them from us. The police don't protect people. The police protect property, to serve and protect the deed, not those in need. The military makes money for industry, defends lands, not freedom. People just happen to live on the land in need of defending and protecting. And so, my human being friend, that's why populism and socialism and progressive ideas are all talk with no banter. The elite minority will never allow change to happen in America because that would destroy their stake in the minority majority. They don't want anything but conflict for us, not for them. They don't want equality. That minority wants things to stay just as they are. Half the country hating the other half of the country, while they live off the juice and the vig and the merits of their government-protected wealth. The rich are the real grifters. The rich are the real members of the welfare state. The rich are the real enemies of the people. And yet again, we know this. This is not news to us. And yet, we can do nothing about it. It all starts with control. Those running our government. They're elected. Oh, sure, elected by us. Nah. No, they are vetted and pre-approved by the rich and the wealthy minority, who then offer up these candidates to us as free choices in a two-party political system, while all the candidates on both sides are already bought and paid for. We're offered a false choice with the same result. It doesn't matter who wins, because the wealthy minority will always be protected. They've made sure of that, and they will be catered to because those who represent us need the wealthy money in order to pretend to serve us. And once they're elected to represent us, they spend most of their day on the phone trying to raise more money from other wealthy people, people who only have an interest in protecting their wealth. So, we the people really means, in translation, we who have the money. And the rest of it then all cascades into making sense. America was founded on a false dream, a fake ideal that all men are created equal, because the real intention of our government has always been to make sure inequality rules us, because chaos, because disenchantment are the real political and economic drivers in America. The executive separators. Oh, not between church and state, but between the haves and the never-hads. And all of that are the most damaging threat to the soul of us, because the real fake minority wants us to suffer in the wallowing dark of focusing on the wrong enemy. They want us fighting each other instead of recognizing them as the real deniers of freedom against the ideal of America and the decrepit deceit of the minority founding of these United States. Thank you for listening. Be a human meme.